Can we get real for a second here?
You know what, Kelly? This is the real world, not the real world, Scranton.
The Oakland A's are not moving to Las Vegas. Despite the binding agreement for the team to purchase land in Sin City, everything has been done in such a lazy, half-assed fashion. It is as if ownership hired a bunch of high school seniors during the last week of class to organize and launch the project. Seriously, John Fisher is making the Maloof brothers' attempts to move the Sacramento Kings to Anaheim look professional. That being said, it is as professional as their ill-fated relocation to Virginia Beach. Talk about ridiculous. Here's the deal. I love the Oakland Coliseum. It is the last of a dying breed of sporting venues in America where fans go to watch games. Some may call it dilapidated, but this is viewed by others as rustic charm, the exposed brick of stadiums, if you will. A place where you can basically sit wherever you want, pee in a giant bathtub, and be around people who love their city despite it not loving them back. However, I also understand the logic behind the Oakland A's leaving. Firstly, it's a nomadic franchise that has a history of moving. Secondly, they can't play in the Coliseum forever. I mean, as much as I love it, the thing is falling apart after decades of neglect. Why it has been allowed to fall in such a state of disrepair in the first place is baffling. It blows my mind. Ultimately, if Oakland isn't going to do something, then it only makes sense for the franchise to look at alternatives, although I'd argue Oakland has been pretty accommodating to the A's. Anyway, that brings us to the reality of the currently unfolding situation. The Oakland A's aren't moving to Las Vegas, folks. Never in my life have I witnessed a professional sports relocation announcement met with such indifference. Seriously, Tampa Bay's attempts to spend half the season in Montreal were greeted with much more fanfare. Meanwhile, A's leadership can't even get a plan in front of the Nevada state legislature despite claiming the move to be vital for the franchise. Let's try to unpack everything here because the reality becomes crystal clear once you do. Where are the renders? How does John Fisher come out with an announcement to move and not have something tangible to show the public? Despite having been at this for seemingly months now, A's ownership was too cheap to spend money on some sort of design concept. At least make it look like you care about what's happening. Now, speaking of caring, Las Vegas does not seem to care. The general response of those in the city to the A's moving there has been tepid, and that is probably a generous description. Sure, there are a few locals out there spouting out homerisms, but by and large, the reaction to the announcement hasn't been great. In fact, you'll find multiple Reddit comments with people championing the AAA Aviators over their MLB parent. That's not a good look. The most common complaint though is in regard to financing. Namely, the same people who were cool with taxes going to build the Raiders' new home are less than keen on doing the same for the A's. The backlash to publicly financing a potential new stadium for which renders do not exist has been less than ideal for A's ownership. That's because the team needs roughly $50 million to make the project a reality. The thing is, these complaints aren't only coming from residents. MGM Resorts International CEO Bill Hornbuckle, a man who was instrumental in securing public funds for Allegiant Stadium, has come out against the A's, receiving a similar deal. We also know Fisher is far too cheap to foot the bill himself. After all, the A's would already have a new home in Oakland if he wanted to use his own fortune. Unless he wins the Powerball jackpot, it's hard to see where this $500 million is coming from. Many people have compared the current plight of the A's to the plot of Major League, and there are certainly some similarities. The main difference though is that team of misfits managed to win some games. On the other hand, fans, as well as officials in both Oakland and Las Vegas, probably take one glance at the Miami Marlins and understand why no one should give Fisher a dime. The team from Florida moved into their publicly financed new digs in 2012. Let's just say Lone Depot Park has not been the game-changing project fans told it would be. To that extent, just look at where the team has ranked in attendance over the years. That's right, despite having a brand new stadium, Miami has the worst attendance in Major League Baseball since 2012. That includes finishing below Oakland on multiple occasions. But what about the classic, the owner will have more money to spend on players argument that oftentimes gets trotted out? That doesn't really hold up either. Only twice have the Marlins had a payroll above $100 million since Lone Depot Park opened. And when they did spend, the results were, well, awful. May we never forget the 5-year $80 million contract they gave Wei Yin Chen. Most years, the front office finds its payroll among the league's smallest. Everything here points to a very straightforward reality. The Oakland A's are not moving to Las Vegas. Everyone knows the grift John Fisher is trying to run and won't bite. Vegas's lukewarm response to the move probably has local politicians thinking twice about moving forward anyway. Meanwhile, those leading the franchise seem to have no clue about what a move actually entails. Calling their efforts amateurish? Well, that would be a compliment. Even if they do the unthinkable and pull the relocation to the desert off, it's pretty clear the team won't benefit. Greedy owners will always grub for money. Either way, I will enjoy the Oakland Coliseum while it's still around. Nothing beats big ass helmet nachos and the freedom to sit basically wherever you want in the stadium. If you happen to find yourself in or around Oakland this season, I would certainly recommend checking out the Coliseum and the A's while they're still in town. Until next time, this is, of course, the Touchback. I'm Cheyenne Hollis, and make sure you hashtag take it out to the 25.